The Pentagon quietly held a private workshop on UAP research. They didn't tell the public it happened until months later. At almost the exact same time, an international group of civilian scientists held their own summit with one clear goal: build a detection network that no government can absorb or control. These two stories are now on a direct collision course, and at the center of both is a question that has gone unanswered for over 8 decades. Who actually owns the data? Hey ufologers, I'm Cristina Gomez. Welcome back to this episode of UFO News Updates. All sources for today's episode are at ufonews.co, and that link is in the description box below. If it weren't for the Defense Scoops article, I wouldn't have heard of this event. So in August of 2025, approximately 40 researchers from government and independent organizations were quietly invited to a 2-day workshop in Washington, D.C., and AARO organized and funded the entire event. The host was a nonprofit called Associated Universities, Inc., which supports large-scale scientific research. No public announcement was made before the workshop even took place. Attendees had to cover their own travel, but AARO did cover lodging and most meals. The only reason any of this came to light is because AARO published a 17-page white paper just last month. So what were they actually solving behind closed doors? UAP reports right now are all a mess. You have military logs, pilot records, civilian sightings, social media, all formatted very differently, and none of it is very easy to cross-reference. So the workshop laid out a plan to fix that: standardized reporting templates, better data sharing between military and civilian sources, and AI tools to process large volumes of reports at scale. But here is the line that's buried in AARO's own document that no one's talking about because really no one knew about it. The workshop findings, it states, may influence how and where physical sensors get deployed in the field. A private government meeting with no public oversight could determine what evidence even gets recorded in the first place before a single piece of it ever reaches you. Now, here is what civilian researcher Reed Summers said to News Nation on the subject.
Data drives disclosure. Detection is ground zero in the data generation effort. If we can detect, we can track. If we can track, we can monitor. We can identify patterns, hotspots. We can deploy in the right places, in the right ways, and generate a multi-layered, multi-sensor, corroborated data set that is getting much, much closer to something called hard proof.
Both sides agree data is the foundation. However, they don't agree on whose hands that foundation gets built in. The UAP Detection and Tracking Summit held back in February of this year brought together a wide group. Congressman Eric Burleson was there, obviously, at this rate, along with others like Gary Nolan and Ryan Graves. Summers, who organized the event, opened with a direct observation that more than 10 independent groups around the world are already attempting to detect UAP, but they are all working separately, using different equipment, different standards, and no shared data systems. The result is a fragmented picture that doesn't really add up to proof of anything. And that depiction sounds almost identical to the problem AARO identified in its white paper. But Summers was not calling for government oversight to solve it. He was calling for something specifically designed to operate without it.
Isn't there an ongoing disinformation operation by sections of government and the intelligence community to flat out lie to the public?
I have so many indications that there is an attempt to subvert all efforts to credibly detect and generate evidence of this phenomenon and to present that to the public. I've heard that from military whistleblowers. I've heard that from scientists and researchers. I've witnessed it myself.
And then he said something directly about AARO. Take a listen to this one.
We need a kind of a layer of connectivity or connective tissue linking up these different groups, allowing them and empowering them to share their data and to centralize that somewhere, somehow in the public domain. Do not give that to the DoD or to AARO, which to my knowledge, they are pursuing that data actively at this moment. And I'm very concerned about that. Is this another effort to reaggregate data and narrative under their control? We have to ward that off. We have to make this an international, nonprofit, civilian-led effort.
Don't give data to the Department of Defense or their UFO office, AARO. In your opinion, why or why not do that? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Here is why that warning matters right now, though. Because AARO's caseload has grown to over 2,000 UAP reports, with roughly 1,000 lacking enough data to even analyze. And they are actively building new infrastructure to manage all of it. They may have been reaching out to civilian and international groups that were offering funding. The researchers at the summit are aware of this, and AARO's own white paper was not just a meeting recap, it was also a roadmap. The office states directly that its findings may influence where physical sensors get deployed. The government is not collecting existing data, it's writing the rules for how future evidence gets recorded, and what gets captured and what gets left out may not be your decision. Oh, and don't go anywhere because the civilian side of this is further along than most people realize. So, the leading concept is a low-cost distributed sensor network, units at around $500 each, rooftop size, feeding data automatically to a shared app-based repository with civilian eyewitness accounts that are layered in. Mitch Randall's Skywatch project established roughly 10,000 units that could cover the entire US, tracking anomalous acceleration, sharp directional changes, and extended hovering with no known aircraft that could replicate it. Researchers like Bob McGuire presented an acoustic sensor for shallow coastal waters designed to detect movement patterns matching nothing in any known naval inventory. Some of this is already in limited deployment. But the main obstacles are funding and coordination, at least according to Mr. Summers. And that coordination gap has a direct safety post that Ryan Graves has been documenting at the aviation level for years.
I think of this case that Ryan Graves brought forward at the summit that he had heard only weeks prior about a commercial pilot with 16,000 hours of flight experience flying out of a South African city at 28,000 feet, observing a craft, a very large black triangle, directly on their flight path. And within 5 seconds, that object went toward the commercial airliner loaded with passengers and buzzed at 200 feet distance. I mean, that's an intercept in my mind, right? I mean, that is a highly insecure situation. It makes you not want to necessarily fly. I mean, I've heard from others that the rate of intercept of UAP to commercial airliners is high nationally, real time, every day, much higher than we think.
UAP are approaching commercial aircraft at a rate far higher than the public knows, and most of it has never been reported. Well, the question is why? Because pilots who log a UAP sighting still risk their careers. Ryan Graves and others confirmed that. The system designed to protect passengers in the air is the same system keeping this information from reaching the public. So here is where both sides of the story actually land. AARO and civilian researchers are looking at the same broken, fragmented data problem. They just have completely opposite ideas about who should fix it. AARO is pulling outside researchers into private, invite-only meetings and building infrastructure under a Pentagon control, and the civilian coalition wants a decentralized network that no single government can absorb. Really the same problem, two different futures depending on who wins that argument.
We could be much less equipped to deal with this presence than we think. And that's why I think the reliance on federal disclosure, federally driven, military complicit disclosure is a fool's errand. And ultimately, no matter what they disclose, we have to corroborate it with civilian sources anyway. And so we'd better get about it.
And to top it all off, according to Defense Scoop's Pentagon spokesman Susan Goff, she confirmed that AARO doesn't have any additional workshops currently planned. And really, barely anyone even knew about the last one. On the civilian side, Summers is building a platform called UFOevidence.com, and while it did launch late last year, it is still under construction. It will offer a publicly accessible UAP case database where evidence is rated using a structured scoring system, separated separating witness quality from physical evidence quality across multiple observed categories. Over a dozen independent research groups, more than 40 researchers, are now in active discussion about building that shared civilian infrastructure. So, if civilian researchers build a verified, publicly accessible UAP database, does that force a real government response? Or does it simply get absorbed, reframed, and then buried? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Cristina Gomez, and that's it for today. I will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. If you enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.